All right, Craig, let's talk about rarity versus significance in video game collecting. Um, Rarity kind of like if you're collecting things solely because they're rare, it kind of means that you're adding things to your collection now before you're able or before you're unable to find them later just because they're just that scarce. Um, Significance can be a couple of different things. I think it will, we talk about historical significance a lot on this little show, and first the first game of a franchise can count as historical significance, or a character's first game. We don't see a lot of first appearances being super important in the world of video games yet, but Sonic 2, for example, is Tails' first appearance, right? um,
hmm
and then there's personal significance, which a lot of times is just nostalgia. So let me ask you: do you collect things solely because they're rare, or even if they have no other significance, do you just collect things that are only rare?
Nah, for me, I mean, it's kind of a yes no. If I'm going for like a complete set, then of course I'm gonna have to get both.
Yeah.
But for anything that I don't complete set, which is a majority since I collect a little bit of everything, personally for me, I definitely care more about significance, not even specifically to like the masses, but to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I I don't own like Mario 1 at all in any way, shape, or form, like complete in box cartridge only, anything like that.
Yeah.
I would like to because that's something that's significant to me because I love 2D platformers. That's, kind of what popularized and started it all in terms of like when gaming really started to pick back up. So I care about stuff like that. If it's something like, say, I stumble across like Poop Slinger on PS4 or something like that, something that's like well known for being super expensive, super rare. If I found that at a Goodwill, that would be like an instant without even thinking about it. I'd be like,
Right.
sick. I could flip this and get stuff that I actually care about. Uh, so I know a lot of people that do care. Like they think that they need to just go for the rare games, and I feel like that's cool. But if you're just hoarding the rare games because they're hard to find and not because you care about them, that seems a little bit waste of spacey to me personally. I know it sounds kind of hypocritical since I have two full sets, and it's like obviously I don't care about every game in them, but chasing after and spending money on just the rare games just to say that you have them has always seemed a little odd to me personally. I definitely lean more, and I'd rather get stuff that's significant to me, like all the games in the series that I love, like Earthbound or Persona or Fire Emblem, things like that.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I do think it is a little bit different for us as set collectors. We're collecting the
hmm
junk that's significant, insignificant, the rare stuff, the common stuff. I think that, my next question was going to be, if you weren't a set collector, what would be more important to you, rarity or significance? And I think you kind of answered that already.
Yeah, yeah. So it would definitely be significance. I definitely care more about buying the games that I either want to play, plan on playing, or is from a series or developer I like. Like anything Atlas, I like to support a lot, or even like to be semi timely, I guess. Like when Ghostwire Tokyo comes out later this month, a game for PS5, I'm really looking forward to it. And I have an inkling that it's not going to do that well, so I want to buy it early on before it goes on sale, just to kind of like show my support.
Mm.
So I'm definitely more in that camp in terms of what I care about for my own collection.
I think um, I think the obvious answer for most people is definitely significance. If you're only collecting things that are rare, then you won't have the Marios, the Metroids, the
Mm-hmm.
Zeldas. You won't have, for me, I wouldn't have Rayman games in my collection. It's just, there's got to be a fine line between them, I think. And it's totally fine if you're just into significant titles, whether it's personal significance or historical significance. I think when you see pictures on Instagram or whatever, and it's like all Mario and all the Nintendo titles, that's when people tend to say all killer, no filler. And
Yeah.
that's not always true. We've talked about that a little bit in the past, but you can have quote unquote filler and have a solid collection of rare titles. There's tons of Game Boy Advance garbage behind me right now
Oh
that
yeah.
is just, um, I would call it
Impossible to
killer.
find.
Exactly. It's impossible to find, and it doesn't, like, it's not filler just because it's a Barbie game or whatever. There's no rare Barbie game on GBA. That was just an example. um,
No, yeah.
but yeah, there's got to be a fine line, and I would say the same thing. Significance for me, if I had to choose one of the two, but I also find it to be extremely fun locating rare games, and I know you do as
Oh
well.
yeah, me too, definitely. But if I have someone just drops like say like $100 in my lap, like all right, go buy something that you've been wanting for your collection for a while. It's much more likely I'm probably gonna buy, say, I'm trying to think of something I want that I don't have, like a complete in-box Mario 3. I think it's about that much. That's something I don't have, and that's an awesome game that I love. Opposed to me going and buying like a semi higher end PS2 game I don't care about, like a Suikoden 3 or 4 or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you, I'm curious what you think in terms of people caring about, like how you said first appearances. Do you think that's something people are gonna care about in the long run, kind of like in the comic book collecting industry? Like how people care about first appearances of villains and side characters and stuff like that. Do you see that being a thing for games? Like people wanting to get, like, say, like Sonic Adventure 2 because that's the first appearance of Shadow, like stuff like that.
You know, I think that it is a very interesting topic to discuss, and we might have to one day. I've been trying to write a script. I've literally,
About that.
yeah. So my video, I've tried to make a video about this before, and as I was doing it, my outlook on it kind of changed. I went in with the thought of like, oh my gosh, everybody's got to have Mario Tennis on N64 one day. It's the first appearance of Waluigi, and that was the only like real. I mean, there are some out there, but that was the only major. What am I trying to say? So most games have first appearances in the first game.
Hmm.
Um, so Sonic obviously started in Sonic, and that's why I think comics are way more interesting, because while Amazing Spider-Man #1 is obviously worth thousands, millions maybe, um, the the true first appearance is Amazing Fantasy 15. He started in another book. And with video games, I think what it boils down to is Sonic 1 is important because it's Sonic 1, the first game in the franchise, and it is coincidentally also the first appearance of Sonic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of like, I think what outweighs the first appearance is that it's also the first game in the franchise. You got me?
No, and I agree. And I'm trying to like just sit here and think of examples, and I'm like, a lot of first appearance for a lot of characters could also be their only appearance.
True.
Like if you think of like, like specifically the Skull Kid in Majora's Mask that has Majora's Mask. It's like, yeah, there's Skull Kid in Ocarina of Time, but the significant one is in Majora's Mask, and then he's never in anything else again. So it's like, is the first appearance really that cool when it's a one-off too? I don't know.
Right.
It's definitely not as similar to comics as I initially thought. Now that we're speaking about it, which is kind of interesting.
And it's like the one time where I've had to really, really put some thought into it before I just put out a video. I mean, that sounds bad,
Yeah,
but like my
no, I
opinion
get
has
it.
changed so dramatically since I've started thinking about it, and I'm just not ready to have that discussion yet until I've really formed my opinion.
I get you. I can see where that would be a bit of a mind juggling topic to try to see where you land on it.
Well, what do you guys think? Are you more into rarity or significance? Drop a comment and make sure to join the Discord where you guys can suggest us some topics to talk about here on Collective Perspective.